Round 1 of the 2011-2012 UAE National Race Day Series saw an excellent turnout of competitors and spectators at the Dubai Autodrome. As well as the UAE Touring Cars and the UAE Sport Bike Championship races, there were two new independent race series on track, the FG 1000 single-seater series and the all-new Radical Cup. An impressive field of touring cars lined up with several new drivers on the grid, but it was experienced racer Ramzi Moutran in his dual racing Seat Super Copa who powered on to a double win in Class 1 against one of the strongest fields ever in the Premier Tin Top class. Race 1 saw British touring car specialist Martin Johnson in the Vauxhall Astra start from the back of the grid and make his way into second place. Meanwhile, just behind him, Nader Zahur led earlier in the race until he ran out of brakes and had to settle for third place. In race 2, there was a familiar face on the podium with former touring car champion Mohammed Al Awais finishing second in Khalid bin Haydar's championship-winning Seat. Martin Johnson finished third.
I wasn't quite expecting 2 wins. I was expecting to be up there fighting for wins, but this is a real pleasure. It was really good.
In Class 2, it was reigning champion Amir Khan at the wheel of the Lap 57 Honda, who finished first in race 1. He was followed across the line by fellow Honda driver Aslan Mulla, returning to the series after a year off. In race 2, the roles were reversed as Aslan Mulla took the checkered flag, just a second ahead of Amir Khan.
It was better than last season. Last season, actually, I qualified, in the race 1, I qualified 4th and then finished second and everything. This is a good start. Yeah, much better than last season.
Last year's Class 1 champion Khalid bin Haydar won the first ever UAE Clio Cup race in his Emirates Racing Team Renault. He was closely followed by Alexandros Anivas in the Gulf Petrochem Marista Racing Clio. In race 2, bin Haydar continued the battle with Anivas, but the Greek driver managed to keep the Emirati behind him for the win. Sami Moutran finished third in both races. Meanwhile, the opening day of the UAE Sport Bikes Championship saw excellent victories for Triumph, with Alan Boiter and Mahmoud Tania taking a win apiece in the 600cc class in a field made up entirely of privateer riders. Boiter scored his maiden UAE sports bike win in the first race of the season, beating his Vendetta Racing teammate Mahmoud Tania across the finish line by just over a second. But in race 2, it was Mahmoud Tania who bounced back to take the top spot on the podium, with Boiter following him across the line and Steve Blackney in third place.
It's been fantastic actually. Trained hard through the off-season, which I'm bad for. Did some races in the UK, really prepped myself for this, and it paid off.
Meanwhile, Chris Morley finished at the head of the 600cc rookie class in both races on board his Kawasaki, getting his racing career off to the best possible start. Race 1 saw Morley chased all the way by Ian Wilcox on board the Honda. In race 2, it was Richard Drake who finished second, with Ian Wilcox third. Elsewhere in the 1000cc class, Gernot Dobida was the fastest man on 2 wheels around the Autodrome circuit. However, with the absence of reigning champion Abdulaziz Bin Laden, the Austrian had no one in his class to challenge him in the big sports bike category. Meanwhile, the new format Radical Cup saw competitors race over 2 45-minute endurance races. In race 1, last year's UAE sports car champion Jordan Grogor came from the back of the grid to pass leader Rob Bath for the lead, but it was James Littlejohn who eventually took victory after the driver change. Later in race 2, it was Perry Johansson driving on his own who took the class win. Elsewhere, the other new race series to kick off the 2011-2012 series was the Formula Golf 1000 single-seaters, designed to find potential young F1 drivers. Race 1 saw several incidents, but in the end it was Mohammed Al-Dahiri who took the win from Joe Gannam, with Yastor Mirza coming in third place. Race 2 saw Joe Gannam hold off Mohammed Al-Mutawa for the win, with Al-Dahiri crossing the line in third.
It was an amazing race because I had a great fight with Mohammed. All the way he was chasing me. I'm willing to keep on dominating and winning the championship.
So an exciting start to the UAE National Race Day season. And we'll be back with more coverage from round 2 of the championship.
It's #1, baby.